County of San Diego through a competitive solicitation process, and the development is proposed on a 1.88 acre county-owned site located near East Valley and Fifth Street. The project would create an 100% affordable senior housing development consisting of 136 dwelling units, along with on-site amenities and supportive services. Of those 136 units, 14 are proposed to be set aside for senior veterans who are experiencing homelessness or are at risk of homelessness. In addition, the development team has indicated plans for tenant improvements. In partnership with Quality Children's Services, or QCS, which has experience providing free childcare services at another National Core property in Oceanside. National Core and SDCHC both have experience developing and operating affordable housing communities that include long-term affordability, resident services, and supportive programming. A local example of their work is Valley Senior here on Escondido, which is not even 5 minutes away from City Hall. So now that we've walked a bit over the 5 options and spoke a little bit about option 1 and why we're recommending it, we are recommending again to award National Core and San Diego Community Housing SDCHC the $3 million in home funding for the Valley Creek project. This option would use approximately the $583,000 in home funds that are currently scheduled to expire, as well as approximately $2.4 million in future home funds, which generally reflects the remaining available balances from the program years 2019 through 2023. This option piggybacks on the county's competitive process, which saves a significant amount of time and helps position the city for a timely expenditure of expiring funds. The project would serve at seniors at the 30 to 60% area median income, or AMI, which is one of the most difficult income ranges to serve in today's housing market. It would also include on-site supportive services, including a daycare component that is expected to be open to the public. In addition, this option would allow the city to commit several years of available home funds in a timely manner, helping reduce the risk of funds that may need to be returned in future years. Although the site is county-owned, the county has been very collaborative on this project, and the development will still go through the city's review process and be expected to meet all the applicable city standards. Another benefit of this project is the developer is willing to provide a reasonable local preference for Escondido residents, as long as it is structured in compliance with fair housing law. That could potentially be done through tools such as geographic leasing preference, a tiered lottery system, or a set-aside quota. This final slide shows the key steps in the amendment process and where we are today. On March 4th, the city held the first public hearing to introduce the proposed substantial amendment. During the month of March, the city also conducted the public outreach and the required 30-day public comment period. And now today, March 25th, we are holding this community outreach meeting to share information about the proposed funding allocation and provide an opportunity for questions. The next step is on April 8th, when staff will return to City Council for the second public hearing and request authorization to submit the substantial amendment for HUD approval. That concludes our presentation, and the developer, John Seymour, is here if anybody has any questions specifically to the development.
So you're getting the money?
The project will get the money. Let me introduce myself. I'm John Seymour. I'm with National Community Renaissance, a nonprofit affordable housing developer, and we're teamed up with, as Norma mentioned, San Diego Community Housing Corporation, also a nonprofit. Both of our companies have done, we're working on our 8th project together, so we have a good track record. And we have, I think you mentioned, Norma, 3 projects to date here in the city. Cobblestone Family, 3 bedrooms, Juniper Senior Village, Valley Senior, and also I'm missing, that's the 3, Cobblestone, Valley, and Juniper. So this would be our 4th if it's ultimately approved. To do this project, I think it's approximately $73 million total development costs. And we will have a loan on the project. from a bank, conventional mortgage. We'll have federal tax credits, which is the largest source of funding in the 25 million. The city is going to loan us, not a grant, 3 million, I think the council approved, which they will get paid back over time with a portion of the cash flow of the project. The county has awarded us 67 project-based vouchers to date, which would be attached to the units to help subsidize the rents. And we'll be competing for, I don't know, another $3 to $4 million for the county, from the county through their Innovation Housing Trust Fund, which should be released, who knows when, sometime this year, right?
Yes.
That money will go towards the project, as well as the county funding, the project-based vouchers, the mortgage, and the tax credits will all be combined capital stack in order to build Valley Creek, which Norma described as 136 homes for seniors. They will be permanently affordable. It will be affordable forever. It's never going to go to market. We're also going to, with the funds, create a on-site childcare facility for up to 50 kiddos. First preference to the city of, if you live in the city of Escondido, first preference to lease up on the property and first preference to put your child there. It's a senior property. People go, seniors, and you have a child care. That really doesn't make sense. That's what some people, and we thought, well, so we did some survey work, and actually it does make sense, because the seniors that we're talking to today that live here, they have a lot of grandkids. And they go, you know what, my daughter takes their kid to San Marcos, and it would be great just to do 3 blocks and drop my child here for free. So it works. It works. We'll have it'll be oversubscribed, meaning there'll be more kids wanting to get in there. What else can I say about the Project Valley Creek? If all goes as well, let me just back up. So where we've gone today, we just didn't come upon the site and say, wow, what a beautiful site for, it was the crisis center site, if you remember. The county demolished the building, then the county released a request for proposals. Ton of developers applied. We won our team, SDCHC and National Corps. We won that competition. Then we went to the Board of Supervisors and we got a disposition development agreement. And we're gonna enter into a 99-year ground lease with the county. 99, so the county will still own the land. The county and the city still are lenders on the project, so there's complete control of the whole project from now until, whenever. We've completed, back in 2025, very much robust community outreach. We did 500 instead of 200 or 300 radius. We did a 500-foot radius. We had a community meeting in this room. I think, Norma and Danielle, if you were here, I don't know, 20 people or so. It wasn't a big turnout, but it was some. What else can I add? If everything goes right, I think we could be under construction by mid or late 2027. If everything goes well. And everything never goes well. There's issues all over, as you know, there's federal funding issues, Anyway, we're hoping to be leased up by 2029. It's gonna be a 24-month construction project, 18 to 24 months to build once we pull the building permit. And so we're hoping to pull the building permit in, like I said, next year, middle. It depends. That's where we are to date. That's where we are. I don't think I can add anything else.
So it sounds like a great project. I don't think anybody is questioning any of that. I have some questions about the funding.
Yes.
So this is county led.
County led.
And option 2 says you wouldn't take 500,000 because you would wait for money from the county. So what does the funding look like for this project without these home funds?
So staff is correct. If we were presented with if we were asked about the option to just take 518,000 of home funds, we would turn it down, and we would rather compete in the city's $5.5 million, or whatever it
Yeah,
is.
whatever it would be.
And we would be asking for the exact same amount that the city council approved or tentatively approved, whenever they did, Danielle. Yes.
Okay.
And then the county, we're gonna be applying for funds, from the county in that regard.
And if the timeline seems a little off, with 2027 and us having to spend by September of 2026, the home funds do allow us to pay pre-construction costs.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, you've already invested, right?
Yes,
So there's,
We're about I think we're about maybe a quarter way there in terms of the pre-development expenses, Danielle. We've already invested $1.5 million in third parties, architect, civil engineer, floodplain studies, noise, traffic, all the stuff that we're required to do. And then we'll continue to spend this money up until we make our applications for the financing from the state and federal government tax credit financing. And we don't get paid back the money until and unless we're awarded. So it's a big risk for us, but this is our business. We've been in business for like 30 years, so we know you spend the money, you get community support, get the money, spend it, get the community support, get the big money, and then you're under construction. And then that's when all that falls in, the lease up occurs and the keys go out. So yeah, we have a lot of risk out there right now, but we feel confident in the project. The good thing is that we didn't need to buy the land. It's gonna be a 99-year ground lease for like $1. And otherwise the project would be infeasible, because if we had to pay, like $60,000, $70,000 per unit for land costs. Yeah, so it's the State of California Surplus Land Act. And the first priority is affordable housing. Number one, and if you don't want to do affordable housing on surplus land, then the city has to make findings that you don't need it.
Yeah,
Which, right?
Yeah, we don't need it, or I think that no one was
Or that
interested
no one's
in it, right?
interested in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, in simple terms. So we competed for that, and we won. The county liked our ideas, the design of the buildings. We could have gone a lot more density, like we could have really, but we are, I'll say, middle of the road density. I don't know what the units per acre is, but we're not like 20 stories, and we're not like 3 stories. We're in the 5-story range with childcare and on-site parking. It's a senior project, so I think we're gonna have like 25 parking spaces or more for seniors. Seniors are gonna be living there are low income and extremely low income. So a lot of our seniors that live in our properties here today, they can't afford a car, maintenance, gas, license, registration, smog, they can't afford it. And a lot of them aren't driving anymore either. So that's kind of like where we are in the project today.
So how big are they gonna be? How?
The units, the homes?
Are they gonna be for like 1 bedroom, 1 house? Or they're gonna be different
Studios
sizes?
with 1 bedrooms and a handful of 2s. Yeah. And the studios will be like our Valley Senior Village and also like Juniper Senior Village. With big community room space, kitchen, a lot of amenities on the site, actually. Yeah, and it'll be 100% electric. Good, bad, or ugly, it'll be 100% electric.
Yeah.
And it will be sustainable. It will be what they call LEED certified, which means it's made out of materials to last a long time. Yeah, it's going to be a 5-star building. I would like my grandma to live there, actually.
So
Good.
do you guys need the money from Escondido to continue with the process? Or like, because it sounds like it would still happen without the kind of minute amount of money that they're proposing to
That's
give you?
such a good question. So
And
in order to get the tax credits, which is like I don't know, I'll tell you how much. It is, the city funding is like 3%. It's minute, it's small. But in order to attract and compete for the tax credits of $43 million, for us to be able to compete for $43 million, we couldn't compete unless the county loaned us the land or ground leased it, loaned us money, not a grant, and the city comes in and kicks in a minute amount. $3 million's a lot. I'm not going to disregard $3 million.
no, I know.
But
I
it-
just
but it's like a
overall for
percentage,
what
It's
the
like this much.
project is.
But it means the world to compete against other developers. Yeah, because we're competing against other nonprofits, and we know we're all friends. But we have developers that are building in Carlsbad, Chula Vista, Santee, City of San Diego, and we're all competing for these tax credits. And it's all based upon a stupid formula for tiebreaker. And the higher the tiebreaker, the more likelihood you're going to get awarded the 43 million. And so public subsidy, quote unquote, drives up the tiebreaker. And so if the city and the county said, we can't give you money, Mr. Seymour, but we can give you the land, we would have a really tough time competing. And our nonprofit board of directors who don't get paid, they'll probably just say, is it worth it for you to put it at $1.5 million and just continue to try to get tax credits year after year after year?
But you did say that if the city would only give you 500,000, then you would refuse that.
We would
And
refuse
you
it
would
and
go
we would
for
go
county
out. We
money.
would compete.
Okay,
and
I
we
have
would
some
go out.
questions on
Yeah,
the other options when we're ready for that.
and that's what I have. I don't know if there's any other questions.
No, it sounds like a great project. I
Thanks.
think it's
Housing
awesome.
needs
Yeah, and just so you know, the other money, the other option would be that, Norman, can you get the option? And I should let you do this. Let me just sit over here and take over. The city issued RFP, that's what he would go for instead. Because that's
Yes.
where we would have this 3 million available plus what's also set aside, it's other funding sources, it's successor housing agency funding and home art funding.
Okay,
That we'll be putting out another RFP sometime in the future. So it's 5.5 million of that. Plus there's 3, so technically we have 8 available.
so, and I'm not trying to say, I mean, I love this project, I think it's awesome. I just wanna completely understand
Yeah, of course.
why we can't do a rental subsidy. And I understand that there's, and the fact, if it was just giving the 500,000, 583, that'd be good. But the fact that there's the rest of the money that won't go towards rental subsidies, these homes are just for seniors, and they're not gonna be available for 4 more years. And there's people, like you said, there's how many thousands of people on the wait list for Section 8.
Yeah.
And, I'm secure in my housing, but I just really wanna be here for people that are not and can't even take their mind off of trying to live to put their focus on this. And I was in that boat. My kids just, are in college now. I was a single mom for 5 years. And I wasn't able to look and see what all the options for funding were and be involved in that. So, that's why I'm looking at this. So my question is, and I think I kind of know what you're gonna say, but what would be the barriers? I just wanted to kind of discuss what would be the barriers to doing option 4. And within the context of not a flat subsidy, but more of an income-based subsidy so that the people transitioning from, off the street could get some rental subsidies. And because you can with the TVRA, you can expend that money with a security deposit. You can help them with that. So, and I did the math, and for 4 months, with that kind of a subsidy, you could service about 30 people, and I could go find you those people on the weekend. Like, I really wanna help. Like, I would, I'm just like.
So I think the main, issue is the timeline. So, like you said, I mean, we have till September 30th to spend it. We're already here in March, right? So we have April, May, June, July, August, we have 6 months. When we did the math based on, I think we were doing the way that we had the subsidy, scheduled for
500,
the three to.
Yeah, no, so that would take you
500.
forever, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it would take us forever. The other thing is, it's not just as easy as like finding someone. I mean, there's a whole process that they have to go through, an application process.
Yeah.
We have to verify financials. We have to go out and inspect every unit, and it has to make sure that those units are up to the housing standards that HUD specifies. So it's a lot, the ramp up time is long. And that's really why. And then once you do get it ramped up, you have all the applications in place, you have to have an agreement with the landlord. You have to have an agreement with the resident. You have to have an agreement, there's 3, isn't there?
Yeah, between the resident, the city, the landlord, the city,
and the
and
resident,
and
landlord.
the landlord as well.
Um,
So it's a lot, it's more time than what we have in order to be able to add those 500.
for the 583.
For the expiring.
Now,
funds.
future, once we spend this 583 and we're really, I mean, the $3 million when we allocate the $3 million to National Core and SDCHC if approved, which I believe it will be. I think all of you were at the meeting, we had pretty good support on that evening. That's gonna put us in a really good position. So we're not gonna be worrying about this expending funds every single year. So we're not gonna have to worry about money going back to HUD in the near future. But we will still have money left over.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So we will still have money left over. That council, we'll start running the programs the way that they have structured it now with a $500 flat rate. We can serve 62 families, I believe is what that worked out to be.
For how long, Daniel?
Every year.
In perpetuity?
Home only allows you to serve people for you can serve them again, but you can only do 2-year
Contracts are
contracts.
2 years.
Okay.
And then they have to self-certify, and you have to make sure they still income qualify.
They are extending those kind of regularly and just,
The whole rule is potentially changing, so in a
Yeah.
few months, we could see some very different home
well, I
rules,
mean,
but
full transparency, I actually work for, home program through the state. So you kind of know. But yeah, no, those, they've been regularly extending them and accepting that just because of all the housing crisis the way it is. So but yeah, they're only supposed to be for 2 years because ideally people are supposed to be able to bridge out of that.
yeah, exactly. It's supposed to be a bridge helping you get to where you need to be. But
So if council in the following years, they decide that they want to expand the program, because we're already expanding it as it was approved, you are able to do it, so we're not gonna lock ourselves in. So for future years, if they want to expand it more, or we receive, more home funding, they're able to do that. It's just what we're concerned is the 583, if we don't expend it, it's gonna be returned. So at the end,
So my question, I guess, is, so I did look at the expiring funds report, and what they did was they reallocated the funds into 2018. It wasn't like a clerical error. They actually took the funds and just reallocated it in. I have I have all the reports, and that's basically all I can see. But why can they, if you have an actual plan to expend those funds, and you actually have a plan and set up the activity and IDAs and all that, usually they'll you can ask them to.
our rep, we
Just one
we
more.
asked that if our funds are allocated to a project, so they have been set aside, is that enough? And they told us no.
Really?
It has to be spent. And they said that HUD doesn't even have that level of authority to approve that. It would be the Office of, the OMB. the
Are you
Office of
working
Budget
directly
Management.
through HUD? Is it directly through HUD or
Yes.
HCD?
No, HUD.
Oh,
We don't go through HCD. We go directly to HUD.
That's probably why. Cause HCD will move the money around in reality.
Yeah, we asked if we could just have it allocated, so
No,
that
yeah.
it's been encumbered, it's set
HUD's not
aside,
being
and it's
very
been-
nice right now with that, so, yeah, cause they wanna take back the funds.
Well, I don't know if HUD,
Well, no, I mean, they take them back and then they reallocate them nationwide, so they'll get spent, they're just not guaranteed to be spent in
They're just
California.
kind of needing funds in general.
Yeah, I mean, well, also they do kinda want that, cause the 2026 numbers aren't right. But, you had a
Yes,
question?
hi, my name's Annette Cabernet. I actually sit on the board, I'm a member, I advocate for HEAL, which is, a organization of the San Diego Housing Federation. So we have a basic needs collation, committee, and we actually met today, and I've been looking up, I had seen everything that Escondido's been kind of doing in housing, because they were kind of shut out, they were really public first barriers. It was like, so I'm like, wow, what is this? My question was in our meeting today, with the HUD, with the cuts, people possibly are going to lose housing. It's very real. Where does this tie into any of this with barriers? What are we looking at? I know that they were talking about with Section 8, tenants.
You mean
They
for
were-
future funding for
Yeah,
this
for
kind of
future
program?
funding, yeah, that was
That's a
like.
good question.
Yeah, I mean, my question was too, is I know also that for Section 8, which is not being funded, they're going to be transitioning tenants into public-based voucher
Yes.
programs. So how does this affect it? That's just kind of my question. I mean, we can't build housing quick enough. I know, we really
Yeah,
can't.
I think our program just supplements,
Okay.
it just supplements
No, that's
what's
great.
out there. And I think if we see a demand, I
Mm-hmm.
think our council's very supportive of the rental subsidy program. They've
Mhm.
obviously
No, I mean,
expanded it, just,
yes.
we
I
used to
think
fund
that's
it used to
great.
be funded with $72,000. We've expanded it to $388.
Yeah, that's great.
And, we raised the subsidy from $200, just a year ago, it was $150, or $75 and $125.
Yeah,
So we raised it,
yeah.
and then now we're just raising it again to $500 now,
Mhm.
across the board. So I think what they wanna see is how the first, maybe not 2026, but this
Yeah.
next full year,
Mhm.
how that whole year plays out. Are we gonna, we're gonna serve 62 households,
Mhm.
what's our waiting list look like? Is it, is it seniors, is it families, is it,
Mhm.
and then they'll be able to make an educated decision as far as
So
if they
they-
wanna put more funding towards it and expand the program even further.
I think that they are going to have an age different or an age limit on it.
It's open right now.
It's open,
It used to
okay.
be a senior program,
Mhm.
and we've opened it to all
That's
ages, all households.
Mhm.
I have a difficult question or awkward, difficult, conversation question. How did this happen? Because you're saying you have the rental subsidy program and it was so limited for so long,
Mhm.
but there were funds available. These funds were available during that time.
I can't answer that. I wasn't in this position at that time. I've only been here for 2 years. And in that time, we've raised
No,
it to
yeah, no, I'm not
200
saying like you did, but like generally, like what happened, like,
I think,
Not
actually,
like-
I think the city struggled for a long time.
That's true.
Especially the housing department was very unstable. We had a housing manager, they were severely understaffed for years. And I think programs just,
because there was you guys, in 2023 did report to HCD. And then, because I was able to look at some of the old, communications, yeah, from 2023, Laura Hunter was like writing letters, she sent them to me and gave me, there was a contact, and they were writing to somebody at HCD about the caper and like, about the different reports and all that and feedback. But that person's retired, so I don't even know who they are, but.
I know we reached out to HCD about the successor housing agency funding. I do recall that was us. Cause we're both 2 years in. But as far as, other funding, they funded,
This was specifically
they
the home
funded us
program, I
through,
don't know.
I think it was an ARP, I think it was a a COVID, amount of money that they gave us,
Oh,
which went to the, Veterans Center over on Ash, that interfaith built. I wasn't part of the project, but that could be where
Okay.
we're communicating with HCD. That's the
Okay.
only thing that I can remember that they funded
Okay.
us for, and that was COVID money, I believe.
Yeah, I don't know why the letters are addressed to her and Veronica, which I guess did Veronica have your position
No,
before?
Veronica's the city planner, so,
Oh, I don't
So,
know why
yeah,
they
that's
would be
a totally
addressing it
different-
here. But they're talking about, like, the letters are talking about, the consolidated plan and all that, the housing element, well, maybe because they're
Oh,
talking
the
about the
housing
housing
element,
element, because that's her,
yes.
yeah.
So we have to obviously give updates to HCD every year on our housing element. That's the planning
Maybe
department,
that's
that's
why,
not us.
maybe it's.
You'd think it would be us, housing element, but it's not, it's planning.
Okay.
And so, yes, we do definitely work with them every year on the housing element.
Okay.
So we got it, that's Veronica.
No, yeah, she reached
And
out
or
to me.
Priscilla, or
No, she
Sally.
reached out to me about that, but I haven't had a chance to get back to her.
I had a quick question on your guys on again trying to get funding. If you guys have spoken to council at all about revising their housing policy regarding housing first, because I realize that these are billions or millions on the table
Yeah.
from the state.
We have not, planning, I believe, has, but that was a couple of years ago, and I don't think it's come back up again. But yeah, that would be something that, our planning department would bring forward. They would probably collaborate with us, but they would take the lead on that.
One other question on the funding. So, you know, you mentioned with the admin, funds, so like for future, I mean, it just drives me nuts, this much is gone. Because like with the admin funds off of this, you could like hire, you know, the person to help, you know, process the subsidies, I don't know, man. Is that like something you guys would think about in the future, is hiring somebody to help with this kind of a?
If
Because-
council would have gone in this direction to either do the 583 or even the 3 million, there's no way that, it's just, there's one person that's
Yeah,
doing
no,
this.
yeah,
So yes, if they would have, that was in the report that there would be a supplement, there would need to be more staff.
and so going forward, what is the funding look like? Like with the 2026 NOFA that,
We don't have it, we don't know yet, we'll probably find out sometime in May what our funding is. So we basically, when we're going to council, we take what we got last year and we basically budget off of that. It comes in usually, it's only,
yeah,
It's
but
only
this
off
year
by-
is special,
yeah, it could be.
okay.
But no, the allocations haven't been released, they're usually released around May.
They had briefly put something up in November and taken it down, I believe, yeah.
Yeah, I recently went to, I work as a documenter as well, so I attend other council meetings around this county. Carlsbad recently went over their funding for this next year and were referencing cuts from HUD that they were told about, so,
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe they are a rep,
okay.
we can reach out to our rep, we haven't received any notification of any cuts yet.
Cuts, and if I may say too, a lady had mentioned, in our meeting today too, also the rules speaking out maybe against them, like if it's really it'd be time right now, you know, with the funding and what they're cutting out to everyone and just absolutely not, and following those, trying to follow those rules and still, you know.
Yeah.
It's something tricky, I guess everybody's gotta get very crafty with everything, right? I'd like to also mention, a friend of mine lives in one of your core complexes in Oceanside through Interfaith, and it's very well kept up. She's a senior, and the wraparound services are great there. It's a really well kept up complex too.
Are there gonna be other services besides the childcare?
Absolutely. Hope Through Housing Foundation, our sister nonprofit, will have numerous services for senior wellness. I can get you, or I'll get staff, a list of services that we have proposed to the county and the city on this side.
So for
pretty
future
robust.
projects, would we be able to focus on including more than just seniors?
For the RFP that you guys were talking about for affordable housing,
Oh, yeah.
that development?
Yeah. That one will be very general. The way that we had it written, we have it pretty much ready to go, but I don't think we can manage to at the same time. It could be new, right? It could be new rental, it could be new home ownership, like we did with Habitat for Humanity, or it could be rehab, which would, if someone was to purchase an old building, rehab it with our money, then it would be deed restricted as affordable for 55 years.
Mm-hmm. So you're just, okay, so there's not like a
So we
specific,
don't limit it to seniors for the.
or for affordable either? If
No, it's
just-
affordable, it has to be affordable.
Oh, so there's some for sale, affordable, that could be,
Yeah,
they
well,
could
for
figure-
example, like, with Habitat, they built 10 houses over on El Norte,
Mhm.
El Norte, I think, yeah. And we gave them $1 million for the 10 homes, and they had other stacked funding, just like you did. So, the individuals didn't only get our money as down payment assistance, but others. So they got $100,000 down payment assistance from the city for each home. And then there was other additional that brought the homes down. I think the original value was 600 and something.
But on
like
those,
market, and then brought
the
it down to
housing,
like-
or Habitat for Humanity retains the title on the land, right? Or
Yeah,
it
that's
stays,
it's not our.
stays in a thing where they don't really, yeah, I applied for one, I was going to, and I was like, I don't even own this, so it's basically kind of like renting. Really, because you're not allowed to build equity in the house. You can.
No, you are.
No,
At the end
which
of
the resale values are very limited. You really don't you're not allowed really to turn a profit on it. You can't.
Our agreements are written in such a way that, I mean, I can't quote it off the top of my head, but Habitat gets a portion of whatever the overall equity is in the home, right? Habitat will get a portion of that.
There's a limit on what the price you can sell it, and it has to go back into the pool of affordable housing for Habitat on the deeds.
Yes.
On the
Yes,
CCNRs and that. Yeah, there's restrictions in the title.
I'll tell you what it does do, it controls your rent.
Well-
Number one, your rent won't go up because you have a mortgage, and your mortgage is not gonna go up. Number two, you won't be displaced. And three, you do get equity appreciation, not as much as a market rate property. I understand what you're saying, yeah, there's a little rough, but at least it's a safe haven. Yeah, and it also
Well,
helps
yeah, but
build your
those
credit.
My
for-
problem with those is they're not as dense, and it's not as like a
It's true.
big bang for your buck to house as many people. Like,
Yeah.
I don't, not, like if it was where they, you're giving somebody affordability to actually own a house and all that,
Yeah.
then it, I don't know, I would maybe be a little bit more worth the while.
In Encinitas, the developer had just built, some homes down in Encinitas, and they put 4 of them aside for first-time home buyers. You have to have a certain, income, and they're 4 regular, beautiful homes, and it has to be 2 people applying, a credit score, no charge-offs, etc. But that was the first time I've seen something like that, but I was like,
They have a housing first policy, so they attract more.
they attract more down there, yeah.
Yeah.
From Encinitas, and it's like,
Well,
gosh,
you're eligible for more grants. in
Yeah.
that case, from the
Oh.
state.
Carlsbad, Encinitas, I think even Oceanside have housing first policies, so they get more grants.
I think one other place what they're doing too is they're using the density bonus program. So if there are a lot of developers that are building regular housing on that,
Yes,
and then
okay.
that's another way
Is
too
that the
as well.
problem? Okay.
Density bonus, and then it depends on how the agreement is tied in, where it has to match up the rest of the loans too.
Yeah.
So that's another way that
Yeah.
a lot of.
I mean, I think it's great, I think that's a great opportunity.
Density bonus program.
Yeah, so much.
So a lot of there's a couple developments that are doing that, so the housing is overseeing those as well. To make sure that they are following all those guidelines and all the regulations, so that there's no difference between the regular 4 home sales and the ones that
Yeah,
they're building.
okay.
So how dense can buildings be, like in the city, do they have?
We can find out.
We'll
more.
find out.
Yeah.
Does it have to be the area where?
Yes, it does depend on the
It
area.
depends on
The
the
zone that where they're building.
Yeah, you can actually go on the city website and see the,
Okay.
you get the, parcel number and then you can look it up at the county what the zoning is. Depending, it does depend on
We
the law.
need lots of housing. We just need it everywhere, you know? And the prices are just, it's unbearable, you know?
Yes.
So, because for the rental subsidy program, it seems like there's a resistance to doing income-based where you like use the calculator and figure out, because I've seen, these TVR programs, there are cities that are using it and people pay, there's some people, and there's seniors and families, some people pay, most, a third, 2/3 of the rent, some people pay most of the rent, and some people pay like $1 because that's what they can afford. So how do we start the discussion on that? Because I think, I've been saying income-based, but I don't feel like it's being understood. And just in general, like I don't feel heard for income-based, so how do we start the discussion on that?
And who do you start it with?
Well, I mean, we did recommend, maybe not to the extent that you would have liked to see, but we did recommend, originally our recommendation was to base it on income, and 30% AMI would get the largest amount of money, which I think was 600, 500?
Was it 5?
I don't remember now, because we changed it a couple times.
Yeah.
But it's this, I mean, we can, again, I think the city council wants to see how this next year goes with the way the new program goes, and then and maybe not the whole year, maybe we can do 6 months. And then we can maybe like fine tune it, but they're the ones.
Because also if you have use for the funds, and you use the funds and draw them down, then you can make the case, that you'll spend it. And ask for more funds, because also, like when they get to the end of the calendar year, and there's funds unspent in other jurisdictions, and they see that they're unspent, and some of the places will just say, we don't want it, we're not gonna use it, whatever we decided to use it for, we're not gonna use it for that. And they can reallocate funds also, if we're able to use those, so, yeah. Let's use them up and.
Count more money around, remember that's what we're doing right here. It's just a
No, I'm
section
talking
of
about actually HUD does this with their
Oh, hi,
grant.
oh, okay, cause I
Yeah.
was gonna say, yeah, that's the thing with the.
No,
city.
HUD actually does do this with the grants, where if there's they'll, like the grant is for the total amount, if somebody else says they're not gonna use it, they wanna expend all those funds, so they'll put a call out and say, who's gonna be able to use these funds? So if you like put that bug in their ear that, hey, we used ours.
Yeah.
We could use more, they might, increase it.
And hopefully we get to that point, because we haven't been there. I don't know if you were following our CDBG money as well,
Oh my
but
god, this is like a full-time job, just following this, honestly.
No.
No.
but last year, for the last several years, and most of it wasn't, there was still a staffing issue, but a lot of it was that there was such a huge influx of COVID money that came into the city, and that had spending deadlines that had to be
Yeah.
met. And so, again, like, staff had to deal with that money and spend that money, and then the CDBG money sat, and we were in danger of losing CDBG money, but we pulled it together, we got it spent, and we met our timeliness test. HUD does test us on it every May 2nd, to make sure that we are spending our CDBG funding down, and if you don't for like 3 years in a row, they'll take your money. And we made it this year, it was a huge accomplishment, I was super happy. So, yeah, I think things are improving, we'll get this taken care of, and then we're gonna be in a good place that we can look at expanding programs more, and we're just trying to get ourselves out of that hole that we were in right now, to be honest.
I understand that, and I understand it's not my money, but it feels like, it hurts. Honestly, looking at this and thinking of like, it is a missed opportunity, it really does feel like a missed opportunity. And I'm glad that it's going to, a development, but I really just feel like this was I just kind of see all the people that could have been helped from this, and it really makes me sad.
One of the things that, with an affordable housing tax credit project, it'll be affordable forever. And so if a resident is paying $300 a month and the market rate for that same unit is $800 a month or $1,000, that's a difference of like $600 or $700 or $800 a month per unit times 100 years. Plus the money that the city is loaning the development is going back, it's being recycled for more housing with subsidies. They do help, and they help in a huge way, but they burn off and then they're gone. It's not like an investment into a permanent affordable housing project, which will be there forever and always have the rent and never go to market, and saves every unit, every home, every person that's paying that amount. And you could do the calculations for 50 years, 55 years, 100 years. So, but it takes longer.
I get your point, and I agree that it's valuable, but I don't want to like just say, okay, then that's fine. I honestly, like, both things can be true. This can have been a missed opportunity and it's going to a good thing, but honestly, I feel like if we don't learn a lesson, and like, I'm still processing, it's like I'm grieving for the what could have been on that, honestly. So like, no, I completely get what you're saying. I've looked at the funding on where you're getting it. I've kind of looked at the reports and stuff. It looks great, but still. So, yeah.
And all of the units will be affordable, correct?
Yes. No, it looks like an awesome project, really. Yeah.
Wish there were more happening in here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause usually it will be they can build one affordable and then build another.
Well, then also there's that inclusionary housing, there's some zoning things that like the city of San Diego did, and I think they got away from doing that, but when they were building up Carmel Valley, they had this inclusionary housing built into the zoning, where the developers built, a tract, and they had to provide so many, affordable units, and it did not slow down.
Yeah, Carmel Valley's
Yeah, it did not slow down. Carmel Valley has like the highest number of affordable,
has like the best school
housing.
districts. Like,
Yeah, they have the
Very-
highest amount of affordable housing units in San Diego because of that, because they decided to tack that on. So when they had that meeting, not the housing meeting, not this month, but I think in February, they were talking about some kind of density zoning, and I just thought about the inclusionary, because the city of San Diego has like those permitting workarounds. It's, I think, off the top of my head, I can't remember, but credits. So there's like, they give you credits if you opt towards doing the affordable housing and all that, so. I don't know, just things.
Yeah, those are all policy decisions that the city council would have to decide on. And typically, all those things go through our planning department.
Yeah, no, I know, off topic,
I just wanna make sure you know where to go.
No, I do, I have that
That's
on
where
the
you wanna
list,
start
but,
if you wanna have those conversations.
so even like the homelessness policy, does that go through?
the housing
planning?
first, I already talked about it.
The
Yeah, they
homelessness
said planning.
policy is actually through like the
That's
city
just
manager's office.
City manager.
Oh, okay.
It was a big conversation this morning.
Oh,
About
good.
homeless.
Oh, just about homeless, did nobody
Well,
bring
a
up the
lot of
policy?
stuff, it was, but,
Well, then,
just
it's not really a
feedback.
conversation.
Yeah. We need to do something.
Besides just,
Definitely.
yeah, I mean,
Just removing people from one side to another side to another
well,
side.
no, but also if all we do is like congratulate ourselves on like, honestly, and not have the difficult conversations, then what's really gonna change? And there's, I mean, to be honest, like I haven't lived in Escondido my whole life, I've been in San Diego, but it's a cool community, and the people that are, that we're gonna walk past when we're going to our cars, could be housed. You know, if, or, you know, I don't know, just like something like the development that that your company's gonna build, but for, you know, younger people that could use that mental health, wraparound services that are needed to, like, you know, make a dent in this kind of, you know, the issues, the problem. Yeah, so
Yeah, our Valley
more.
Senior Village, it's 100% permanent supportive housing
the one in Oceanside?
here,
No, here.
Oh,
and,
do you already, the one?
Valley's-
They're one.
Oh, the one that, yeah, no, I saw that, yeah. The
Yeah,
one
that
in,
one.
the one in Oceanside, is that also for seniors?
yes.
Do you guys do ones that aren't for
Yeah,
just
well, Mission
seniors?
Cove is, Community Housing Works did the senior component, and National Court did the family component, that's Mission Cove. And Cape Cod Senior Village, that was an old rehab that we bought, old building. And we're working on one right now in Oceanside that has a 15% permanent supportive housing component. The one here, Valley Senior Village, is 100% permanent supportive housing. And our challenge is retention. Retention, that's the goal. How to retain our residents. Not have them leave, not have them get evicted. And it's a tough population to deal with, let me tell you. Property management is, and Hope Through Housing, they have their, and Interfaith. We have a lot of nonprofits actually, and it's tough to keep retention goals. We have retention, I have a 100% retention goal, but it's tough. It's a hard population to manage. AJ, if you ever want to meet her, she's our permanent supportive housing manager, director, and she came from the Center Housing Commission. So she's an expert in this field, and she says that's our goal is retention. It's tough.
What is the biggest, like retention, like keeping them?
Keeping them housed and not getting them evicted
Interrupt.
or leaving.
Are you talking about the mental ill?
Yeah, we have, so Valley Senior Village is on the high acuity level, and I'm not a pro in this, I'm a novice, I just listened to AJ. High acuity means more mental illness in the simplest terms. And those are the most challenged people that we're trying to retain so they don't go back out on the street. And if they get evicted, that's the worst thing, because then you got an eviction on your record, to
Yeah.
get back into affordable housing.
Yeah.
Or any house.
Or any housing.
Yeah, you can't get
It's so horrible, so it's like, and a lot of them have mental illness and they don't understand and they don't wanna understand, and there's communication, it's challenging, I'll just put it that way, and I'm not on the front, so I'm not on
Well,
the
so
front,
I would,
boots on the ground.
I would
AJ
think that
is.
also some of them, I mean, how do you decide when they need to transition to like nursing care or something like that?
Yeah.
Like, and how would they if they don't have the
We're
funds?
addressing that too, yes.
Yeah.
So they emptied out the mental hospitals in the late 70s?
Mhm. Yeah, there's major policy issues. Super major policy issues, but we're just trying to retain, and not have these people go back out on the street. Housing first, she said, housing
Yeah.
first, get them retain. Yeah, it's tough.
So
And-
because it's a county,
Trained
because it's a
too.
county property,
Yeah,
then it's
It can
it's
actually be
eligible for
housing
housing
first.
first funds.
absolutely.
Oh,
Okay.
that's good.
Yeah, yes.
Does the county own any other properties in Escondido that we can get funded?
They do, they have weird pockets throughout Escondido.
They have a website actually
Yeah.
with all their vacant or unused property I was
Yeah.
looking at.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So we'll be back at council on April 8th. The presentation will probably be very brief since we've already presented to them. This is the second hearing. So the first hearing we introduced, the second hearing we just bring it back basically for confirmation that they support it. So it'll be a pretty quick presentation. And then we'll submit it to HUD and they will approve it hopefully very quickly. We've already talked to our rep and asked him to please make sure that he can expedite that, and then we'll get going, getting the money allocated and. Yeah.
And-
Right.
Yeah, and we're working as fast as we can to go through the process on this. And luckily, the city hasn't really imposed a lot of high high cost on the project to pre-budget problems. It's going along smoothly. Thank you guys, appreciate it.
Anything that's housing, on our end, anything that's housing, yes. And you can always reach out to us via